How you doing? Many of us are wondering, with the barrage of news and developments, what do we do? Beloved, our job is really not to save the world because we can't do that. Well, not in the way we think. So what can we do? We can help save the world in a different way. We can do our own work and move ourselves into more spiritual openness and maturity to grow and do the healing work that's inside of us to do. And beloved, that's no small thing. That collectively is the best thing we can do to save the world because it helps us be more kind, more empathetic, and more loving.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay?
Hello and welcome to the FreedHearts podcast. My name is Robert Cottrell and I'm here as always with
Susan Cottrell.
Hi there.
Hi.
Episode 201. We start again with season 24 of the FreedHearts or whatever it is.
Out of 4 million.
Episode 201 and we're just getting started here.
We're just getting started.
Oh, I've had a good day. I mean, I got up, I did a 5-mile run.
Wow.
I came back, I made a vegetable smoothie. I went to the gym, did a major workout and that's all I remember from my dream. So, how are you all doing?
There you go.
Thanks for always laughing.
It's funny.
Again, welcome
If they're
everybody.
not funny, I won't laugh.
Well, that's just, anyway. Welcome everybody. Thanks for giving us your time for these several minutes every week, and we're glad to be back. We hope you enjoyed our last episode, our 200th episode with our Asher, and we've got so much. We were just talking about future episodes coming up. We got so much great stuff about prayer and about sex, and
sex?
I'll just stop right there.
Woohoo.
That'll give you something to look forward
that's
to.
coming up.
So connect with us at freedhearts.org, and again, share whatever podcast you like, whatever podcast episode you like, or share the whole podcast series, and support us if you can. We are a listener-supported podcast, so we can only do this through the kindness of people like you. So please support us if you can. Okay, well, many of us are kind of wondering, with everything that's going on today, how do we navigate all of this? How do we navigate our emotions? How do we respond? I mean, our job is really not to save the world, because we can't. We can't do that. Well, not in the way that we think,
Yeah. But we can help save the world in a different way, in that our job is to do our own work and move ourselves, into more spiritual oneness, spiritual openness and maturity, to grow and to do the healing work that's inside us to do. And that is no small thing.
No.
And that collectively is the best thing we can do to save the world, because it makes a real impact collectively, a real impact in the world when we all do our personal work.
Yeah. And we talk about the impact of loving the next person we encounter, the next person in front of us. And we think, well, the problems are so big. What difference will that make? It makes a huge difference. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I know I sometimes struggle with bitterness and being jaded and just angry that sometimes those acts of love and that empathy are not my first thought. But to do the work that I need to do that enables me to love and be empathetic and be kind to the next person. Mm-hmm. And the ripple effect of that is limitless. So,
yeah.
And your families, I know a lot of you have been rejected by your families. If your families who are not on board with this, there's just not a thing you can do about them.
There's really not. And if you try to save them, you're going to get caught up in the brambles where they are.
Yeah.
You're going to sacrifice yourself for no benefit because they're not going to come around. And if they ever do come around, it won't be because you made it happen. You can't make it happen. You already know that. They'll just take you down with them.
Yeah. I don't want to underestimate or downplay planting seeds and and the power of living your true, authentic life and letting that.
And that is the power.
Yeah.
To live your authentic life is the power. And they see that either up close or from a distance.
Let them see that.
Yes.
So you can, if they change.
And that's your best move for yourself. So it's win-win.
That's right. You know, we've often said that don't debate people who are committed to misunderstanding you because it can be toxic for you. And so the idea is not to debate back and forth. We know how that goes,
yes.
And it could really yuck our yum. But
don't be yucking my yum, anybody. That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying.
Family
to live our. Wow. Okay, let's get real here.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, but to live your authentic life, let your happiness, let your joy be something that they cannot argue against.
Yeah,
or they cannot deny. That can have a real difference.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if your focus, Susan, was to try to change your sister. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
And that was your daily concern and your focus and your energy was to change her. It would be so frustrating and would completely derail everything else on your calendar, anything else you might be working on, and also poison your thoughts of the things that you then go to work on.
Yes. You know? That's exactly right. And that's it. It would not work, and it would just sacrifice everything else I'm here to do. And I remember one gal I was talking to, I told you about this, and she said, I think I'm going to, she was so afraid to really face her parents on this. She said, I think I'm going to wait till my parents die before I get in a relationship. I said, are they old? Are they sick?
You sound kind of hopeful there.
And she said, no. I said, how old are you? She said, 40. 40. I said, so you're going to wait, 10 years, 20 years? Is that, and for what? To avoid the confrontation? So you're going to wait on a relationship till maybe you're 60? Is that worth avoiding the confrontation? It's a huge cost.
Wow.
Huge cost.
I mean, think when she finally gets with someone, she could have had 20 more years of life with them.
Yeah. Or 30. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And if she just would have told her parents earlier.
Yeah.
And
deal with the fallout. It's not.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, I understand it's not easy, but living alone for 20 years waiting on them to pass, that's a horrible thing to think every day. And how painful is that?
Right. Not the living alone is horrible. Some people thrive there, but to hold back on your life.
Right, exactly.
Is horrible.
Yeah, that's right. And that is part of the work, is just being willing to have that honestly momentary painful confrontation. You know what I mean?
Or protracted.
Or several momentary. Yeah. But it's it's a story. I think I've told this here on the podcast, but we lived in a house in Ohio, and I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, and the basement of our house was just packed with crap. Yeah. Furniture and boxes and crap. And
Your mom complained about it all the time.
Complained about it all the time, and we did not want to clean it out and waited. I mean, went through this for years, avoiding.
For years, it was a weight on everybody's
and delaying
mind.
And everything else. So we finally thought, okay, do it. It took just a few hours. And not saying that your confrontation will take just a few hours. It was hard and it was difficult, but
it wasn't as difficult as carrying the weight around all those years.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you felt light as a feather, and your mother just couldn't get over it. Yeah. She was so happy. So I may have said this before, but I'm going to say it again because, we've slept since then. I want to remind you of what you already know, which is that you are more naturally inclined statistically to be more spiritual, more connected to your spirit than those who are following the church doctrine. Because you are hearing a faint drummer that they're not hearing, and you're tuning into that. God, I've got chills just saying that you've got a specific beat you're listening to.
And what does the church call that? Yeah.
There's a word for that, a word that means spiritual originally, and the word is weird. And I think of the weird sisters in Macbeth, right? They're not called weird because they're weird like we think of it. It's because they're spiritual. They're connected to, the divine. And because they're mediums. It's a spiritual thing that you are doing by living authentically in your life. And it's no wonder that, it's no wonder that outliers are called weird, because we generally are. And we've heard this all the time, that LGBTQ people are more spiritual, etc. But do you remember recently I did something really quirky, as I am wont to do. And I said to you, I know, I marched to a different drum. And you said, I'm not even sure it's a drum. It just cracked me up. And you have accepted me in my weirdness, and it's okay. That's what we're saying, to march to your own drum.
Or whatever you're marching to.
Exactly. Yeah.
And again, I mean, it's so interesting to me, because we talk about, the church's response when you open the box you have God in, when you begin to march to your own ukulele or drum or whatever it is. And
ooh, I like ukulele. That's a good thing. I like that.
And to have the church make you feel weird, and is a tactic. And
yeah.
And so the next time you get called out, just remember, say, you know what? You're exactly right.
Yeah.
I am weird,
I am weird and happy to be so.
And in the same way that, anybody wasn't being obedient to those who wanted to direct them. That's how you get on the out, so to speak. You won't conform or spiritually behave.
Right.
You're not falling in line.
Yes. I remember a friend years ago, my other sister, a different sister, was mad at me because I wouldn't do what she wanted me to do, whatever it was. And my friend said, so let me get this straight. Your sister, she was calling me selfish. And this friend said, so you're selfish. She's calling you selfish because you won't do what she wants you to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're weird because you don't see things the way I see them. It's just, yeah. So anyway.
Is there a word like weird for the word creep? Do you have any idea about that?
I don't.
Well, too bad. I was trying to think that I'm such a creep. I'm such a weirdo. Which I love. That's a haunting song. It's wonderful. I was just trying to redeem the first part of that. Anyway.
I imagine creep comes from you creep up on people. You creep around in the corners. But
yeah, I have read no history on that. We have completely digressed. Oh.
It's all good.
Anyway, where were we here? Oh, yes, that's right. Not falling in lockstep. And it's just fear.
Yeah.
It's fear that if you're different in some way, if you're on a different path, you will be left out. Yeah. You will be left behind.
Right.
And they have to condemn the path that you're on to protect their own path.
Right. To protect their worldview. They can't question it.
And their path is different from the path of the church 2 doors down, by the way, or the 40,000 other denominations.
Right.
Which someone say, if God is clear, how come there are 40,000 denominations that disagree on what
the
God
Bible's
says?
clear. 40,000 denominations can't be wrong. Oh, let me throw in here what Ricky Gervais was saying to
Stephen Colbert.
Yes. He was, because he's famously an atheist, Ricky Gervais. And Stephen Colbert, of course,
is
Catholic and has respect for God, etc. And Ricky said, well, there's some 2,000 gods, if in all the various religions. He said, I just believe, you don't believe in any of those, right? You just believe in the one you believe in. He said, I only believe in one less God than you do. Which I thought was very funny. Very kind of
it's just
frames
it's a way to look at it. Yes, that's
because,
right.
Because you choose to disbelieve the 2,000 except for the one you believe in. So
right, Ricky Gervais doesn't believe in 2001.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just one more.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so they have to condemn the path you're on. So It calls you all the more. That calls you all the more to follow that path.
Right.
Does it feel weird?
Like every heretic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, does it feel weird? Yes.
Yeah.
But now you know that does it feel spiritual? Yes. Do you say
even if God is somebody that you used to know
right.
sometimes and you're not sure what God even is right now, that doesn't mean it's not spiritual.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're not plumbing the depths of spirituality.
Yeah. Do you often have thoughts like, what the hell is wrong with everyone around me? Yes. But you're called what you're called in, and you're never going to be satisfied.
You're called to what you're called to. That's right.
Yes, you're called to what you're called to. And you're never going to be satisfied trying to please those around you. And again, we've talked about their motivations and why and the fear and all that kind of stuff. So they don't have your best interest at heart.
They don't. And they'll say they do, but they don't. Yeah. They have their best, they have their own protection at heart.
Yeah. And living on this path, beloved, is how you get to the point how you become more and more spiritual and more living that authentic life. And so more and more loving and compassionate and empathetic and kind.
And
that's how we change the world.
Yes. It's so freeing to give up the effort to please people, even people who are very important to you, to make them happy when they're not going to be happy anyway. It's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
And when you just put the mallet down and walk away from the whack-a-mole, you'll just find freedom for yourself.
And a whole lot more of your power back, because you give away so much. We give away so much power when we chase that crap down, when we do that.
You have no idea. We have no idea. We keep saying you, but we have no idea how much power we give away, our life goal, our life force we give, like my sister that you mentioned, whatever her response is of ghosting or of vicious words or whatever, that cold, hard stare, it's easy to face those things in a given day, but they don't belong to us.
Yeah. Now, here's the important thing to remember. What you do when you have a family member or just a social media quote friend out there that's doing this, that you're engaged in this kind of relationship with, if you can call it that relationship, but what you do next is up to you. You have that power. It takes two to tango. If you try to please them, then you give away your power to that person. The person now has all the power. And don't give them your power, beloved.
I promise you, it's not what you're here on earth for.
Yeah.
And we've been conditioned that our purpose really is to please others, to please those in power above us. But it's not. That's not what you're here for. Not what we're here for. Someone was telling me she'd been living with her boyfriend, and he was not highly motivated. Nobody thought that he was good for her, etc. And he just was not motivated. And she would make the appointments, and she made his lunch. She did maintenance on the house. And finally she realized she was living her partner's life too. Mm-hmm. She was living both their lives.
Yeah. And what was the cost to her of doing that?
Right.
What was she giving up?
Right. It wasn't what she came here to do.
Right.
And when she realized that, she left the relationship, which was a good thing for her. And when you're the one putting forth the effort, then it's wasting your time. That's no good. I don't know if we kind of, a lot of this I think we've said before, but we just are especially saying it when we wonder what in the world is happening to us and what are we doing here?
Yeah, we've gone on for a bit now, and I want to kind of wrap this up here today by going back to a focus here on how do we save the world without saving the world? You know what I mean?
Yes, that's what I wanted to just kind of press into to say when you focus on you, that's how you save the world. When you raise your own vibration, your own stock, when you love well yourself and find community yourself, that's how you save the world.
What does RuPaul say? How the hell are you going to love yourself?
Yeah, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else?
That's right. So it starts with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So bring us home, babe.
So to sort of wrap all this up, the saving of the world will come by us doing our own work, letting this be a healing time, whatever it is we're going through, letting it shake down all the systems so that we find what's really important. And I have two examples to bring this home. One is Viktor Frankl, who survived Auschwitz for heaven's sake. How in the world do you survive the horrors of Auschwitz with the Nazis torturing people in there? He did it by making meaning, by finding meaning in his own life. If you can make meaning of your time inside Auschwitz, you can make meaning of anything. And that is what allowed him to hold on to his interior self, his hope, his future. When you can get hold of meaning for yourself and as much as possible create community for yourself, that's where your power comes in.
Yes.
We need each other. Yeah. And you need that interior self that is you. Do not give that away. Do not give that away. That's your power. The other example is Jesus, the one who came in and the Jews of the time were waiting for someone to come and save the world. And Jesus came in to a place that was occupied by the Romans. That's what they wanted to be saved from, the Jews, was this occupation, Roman soldiers who could tell you to do anything and kill you and whatever. And they were sure that he was going to come in and kick some butt and make everything right. And what did he do? He said, take care of your interior. Live the way I'm showing you to find your own peace. It's the only way. And when Roman soldiers suddenly tell you to drop what you're doing and carry their gear for a mile, how resentful would you be of that? Jesus said, go with them 2 miles. What? Yeah, don't let them take you over. Dance with them. Don't let them destroy you. Whatever occupation we may feel like we're in any given period of history, the freedom is to retain yourself, to dance within it, to create community. And collectively, we are creating the critical mass that will see us out of this, what looks like occupied land we're living in, and into the freedom that we're all longing for. Yes.
That's beautifully said. Beloved, we love you. Thanks again for joining us. We will talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay?
You've been listening to the Freed Hearts Podcast. We have extensive resources and vibrant, inclusive community for you at freedhearts.org. Please come say hello. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions for the podcast, just email us at podcast@freedhearts.org. Audio engineering is by Luke Johnson. The music is provided by our child, the Grammy-nominated Saint Sinner. You can find out more about him and his music at saintsinnermusic.com. Please share, subscribe, and follow on your favorite platform and support if you can. And thanks for listening.
Would it be okay